Maybe more with respect. Sit down. Guys, sit down.
All the way.
Pascal.
Very only two people watching now. Oh, the one depressed person that's watching, which is nothing. You see me nowhere. You see me nowhere. Oh my! I'm not moving it. What is this? I'm saying still. Oh, that's that. Wow, that's how much. What is it?
In high school, we have to set up in the class. Internet is not
So let's go and bring that in.
Yep.
You know that the same cast easily anyways.
Yeah.
So do you want to bring it?
Yeah, we're gonna bring.
Hozir biz qayta internet bor joyga bu yerda yaxshi olmayapti.
We'll put this on the desk.
Okay, okay,
Biz ondan tayyorlaymiz.
Internet bor joyga bu yerda yaxshi olmayapti.
Ondan tayyorlaymiz.
Sir. Okay. You step away. Olmuş. This one. Yep, if you can take them to the next one, and what those guys are. All right. We are working on the connecting to the internet. There's a network problem here.
is all in. TV oldu.
Sorry, no.
Gerek hemen mi?
Bu kere gözük yes. Hani kita. Ha.
Olsun geçelim.
Bu kadar. Ha bu.
Kalsın bu.
Aha.
Hatta kalsın Kings.
Aha, bol çıkacağım.
Ha?
There's only one HDMI.
There's two.
I mean,
There's two. You can unplug my laptop.
Chrome download qilinganmi?
Nerede bu? You
Ha,
can
bu bo'lsa yaxshi unda.
you can unplug my desktop one from the TV.
No. He has a Chrome, so we can
You
connect
know,
to.
internet's actually much better here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because right here
Uh-huh.
on the other side of the wall is the access
Can
point,
you turn on
and then
the
right
AC
there is the router.
next to the Majlis room?
That's good.
Put it 74.
All right, let me download the Chrome
Huh?
app. Unless you have a Chromecast,
I do have some.
then you can go ahead and connect
I
to
know.
Chromecast.
Yep. Sig'adimi bollar?
It's called Living Room, I
Huh?
think. But let me download the app too because I might need it.
All right, so I got
Yeah,
family
my
room.
Sen dollarmi?
Ha.
Chisildirsa yaxshi, lekin qanday bunday ketirish kerak.
Üstünü koyalım değil mi?
Oh, I have it. Okay. You go home.
Konferansı ular.
So, you go home. It's fine.
Bo'ldi mana. Oh, it's perfect.
Okay, that's great.
Hozir
And then they can come in here. We can rearrange this room any way you
o'zi
want.
yaxshimi? Nari konferens xonamiz ham borda.
And the AC,
o'rtada
if it's
nima
not
bor?
turned on, you can turn the AC on by the meeting room. The TV.
Yeah, I just told him.
No, this is perfect.
Qanaqa yaxshimi? Buyuk background.
Oh yeah, very beautiful.
Yep.
Yep, that's great.
Yo konferens xonaga olib keling.
No, this is great. It's fine. As organized I can get it for these kids.
No, this is fine. So they can sit.
I used to clean and then.
Oh, yeah?
So, are you presenting? Or
Yeah, I'm John.
Albert.
Albert.
Yes. I used to be in IT myself
Okay.
for about 5 years.
Oh, that's
I did,
fantastic.
cybersecurity, network engineering.
Oh, there you go.
So Cisco routing and switching, and then I was a cyber.
Okay.
But they were so short staffed that
Oh,
it was
nice.
like, okay, well, we're gonna make you. You're gonna do the engineering stuff too. So,
Right.
and then I went to cyber, being a analyst.
Okay, so what do you do now?
Well, teach.
Oh, teach here.
Yeah.
What do you teach?
Secular studies.
Oh.
But any kid, I tell any kid, you want to learn network engineering? I have my books at home. I got my books.
Oh,
at
yeah,
here.
yeah,
I got my Cisco books. I teach everybody. If you want cybersecurity, if you want Linux, then I run Linux oftentimes. And these kids have seen me run Linux.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So yeah, so family TV room. It's going to get connected.
Why don't you guys sit back there in an organized kind of way, so you don't block each other? Hey. Hi guys. Hey. Arkada oturuyorlar. O arkada. Only those ones, которые unnechi tepasi. Unnechi untur tepada.
Bular kichkinalar.
Да, bular kichkinashadi.
7, 10.
Ana nimada ko'raveradi? Anaqaga kirgizib qo'yamiz. Ulab qo'ysak.
That's the guest pin. So if you, I guess if you cast it to the Chrome, I guess
Okay,
it does it
10
automatically.
years
I don't
and
know.
No, it's fine.
Okay, okay.
You guys
Oh, you're already connected.
10
Yeah,
and younger.
Oh, Mac can screen share
Oh,
to
okay.
this TV.
For the little ones, we can put up turn on. There's guys. Can you just back there? There's the cables. Why don't you guys stay back there?
All right, guys, come on in. Let's listen to this gentleman right here. Okay, this gentleman's going to direct you. Okay.
Walaikum.
Okay, your attention, please.
Anybody under 14 years old?
Under 14.
Me.
Okay, pretty much everyone looks like 13,
I'm 13.
Yeah, so we have 8th grade and down.
Okay.
I'm 14.
12.
I'm 11.
Yes.
This man is almost 14.
Any 12 years old?
Yeah, he has
12,
like,
12, anybody 12? 12 years old.
Okay.
A couple of people.
All right, let's do the under 10 then.
Under 10. We should only have like 1 or 2. Mayan and
Say under
Jasser.
11.
How old is Jasser?
Oh, 9.
9, yeah, so we have 2 under 10.
All right, why don't we
Guys.
just stay back here, guys?
Harun.
I show hand. Who speaks fluently Uzbek?
I speak Uzbek.
Uzbek. Fluently. Who can understand?
I guess, yes. This
Why are you
guy,
raising your hand?
and I think,
I speak Uzbek. Oh my.
and Russian.
Yeah. I think it's
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
All right, fine. These 3 people. 3
people speak
More
Uzbek.
the merrier.
Did I say?
Okay. Russian. Show hand. Russian. Who speaks Russian?
Russian. Who speaks
Me.
Russian?
Me в Russian. You still me.
Yeah, don't waste your head.
Кто понимает и пишет и разговаривает на русском языке без проблем.
Без проблем. Знаю, да.
Да, хорошо. Okay, English.
I don't
Barely.
Okay then.
I only know Spanish. I speak
Then-
Spanish and Espanol.
Then you should be able to follow my instruction, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back there. Let's have some room right here. So, do you guys want to sit down?
Mr. Albert sitting like a kid.
I thought we had the other black chair.
I wish I could.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to move eventually, but I'm going to wait till you get started.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Did you bring those brochures and the business cards?
Brochures and Mr. behind you.
Can you give them to me?
Behind you. Behind you.
What are those?
I think I feel it now. Yes, it's working.
Yeah, give them all. Yeah, give me all of them. Thank you very much. Good job.
Maybe it's just a draft
Yeah.
because the door's open.
Yeah, any of these guys need a. Okay, wonderful.
Every time you walk out,
So let me just do this. Give me 1 second. Is that it? Are we expecting any more people?
That's it.
Okay then. Give me 1 second and let's do.
This is for me. And then I will take your phone.
Hey guys,
Right?
what did I say about mistreating property that doesn't belong to you?
Is that?
All right?
You started it. No. What a liar.
Listen,
stop.
Nazim.
Guys, stop talking. Stop. Absolutely stop.
Okay. If we can start it.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that's all we have, right? Okay. Are you coming? You said any? Oh, okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is John Tashmatov, and I came from New York City. Okay, just to see you guys, so we can talk about nothing but technology. Okay. So I'm gonna conduct our today's presentation in both languages, in Uzbek a little bit. I see majority of you speak Uzbek.
Yeah.
Good, which is good. But I also speak English as well, because we also have English-speaking audience here. Okay, so we just want to make sure we talk about in both languages. All right. The reason I'm here is obvious. that I wanted to visit you guys. I was here about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago. I just happened to be here. I did not have any plans. I came with my family to spend a holiday, like New Year's and all the holidays, in Tampa, Orlando. So a friend of mine just suggested and said, "Why don't we just stop by the mosque?" And I said, "Oh, there's a mosque here?" And he said, "Yeah." So we walked in, and here we are, right? It's not by chance. Now, I just want to let you guys know I'm very, very happy to be here, and so I saw some of you guys. I saw this guy. Some of you guys are familiar faces here. So it's good to see you guys again. And today, the purpose of today's meeting is we're gonna just talk about how important this technology is in our lives, okay? And where we had it, how important. We need to ask that question. Some of you are probably young enough. You probably don't know. You probably only know the games and maybe go to internet and like tablet. That's all you know. People like me, my generation, I've come a long way, kind of old school. When I came to this country 23 years ago, we did not have internet pretty much at all. We only had email. That's about it. And to check our emails, we had to stay in line, like in libraries, in the coffee shops, you know what I'm saying? And what you guys have right now is just unbelievable, to be honest with you. I mean, we've dreamt about this. We did not have these luxuries before. What I have learned so far, even like long time ago, 15, 16, maybe 17 years ago, some things were impossible. Now, there's no excuse. That's because everything can be found on the internet. Everything is with the tip of the finger. You can just search it and you get the answer, right? Now, when I was learning this technology, like I said, I did not have the internet, no access to nothing. I had to go to the library. I had to look up books, like old books, and start learning. And I did not have anyone, basically, to help me find the answers for my questions. It was so hard. And back then, IT was not that popular. If you see someone who does IT, a lot of people look at them like a geek. They kind of made a fun, like a laugh at us. They did not look at us like some prestige, lucrative job. They were like, oh, some gig guy, it's probably got the glasses on, they work on it, unfortunately. But hey, time changes now, guys. Right now, IT is so important. No matter where you look at it in your life, IT is there. It reminds you. Even like, let's talk about your phones, right? Let's talk about the things you do on a daily basis. Walk in the house, what you do. You got a camera, security cameras, right? Everything connected to the Wi-Fi. Think of the Wi-Fi right now. It's internet things. It's very booming right now. I have at home, when I walk in, everything's connected to the internet. So I can basically control everything from my phone. I can see, I can set up, I can schedule security cameras, voice activations, pretty much everything. So I can say, hey, find me this, or remind me that I need to send happy birthday to my grandma or something. It reminds me, said, hello, John, today is your grandma's birthday. Would you like to send something? And I say, yes, grandma, I love you. Happy birthday to you, right? And I'll call you tonight. And that happens. So as you can see, everything we're getting there, okay? Cars. You guys know like a Tesla and other cars, right? Smart. The word, smart, keyword, right? Sorry, I'm having a little hard time talking and breathing at the same time. So over the years, we have replaced the word hard with smart now. Working smart is just becoming a cliche now. It's like, oh, I work hard. I'm a hardworking guy. Well, that's good. In the beginning, you got to work hard, right? But over time, you develop certain skills, your best practices. You learn ups and downs. You make mistakes, failures, right? And then you develop your own approach. And then you'll be like, okay, so I don't want to go this way because last time I spent a lot of hours and I did not accomplish anything. So I tried a couple other ones, and now in the results, now you have your own best practices now, right? So that means you're becoming smarter now every time. So what makes us better? Practice, failures, mistakes, right? Everything combined. So I know I don't want to sound cliche that a lot of IT guys, they said that don't be afraid of making mistakes, right? And in this technology, in this sphere, in this industry, you're going to make tons of them. Tons of them. When you learn something, well, guess what? Why you make mistakes? Well, for a number of reasons. Sometimes you feel like you are in unfamiliar environment because no matter how much you try, even like a guy like me, I've been in this industry officially 17 years, but unofficially I started 1998, starting with just building the HTML website, like pages. When I saw a friend of mine was attending college back then, earning a bachelor's degree in computer science, and they said, well, why don't you come with me, sit in one of my classes? I'm like, I was earning my bachelor in business administration. So okay, why not? What's harm, right? So I sit down and next to that person, and I looked at it. This guy writing something. I said, "What are you writing?" He said, "It's a code." Huh? Okay. So let me show you. So like he starts showing me. It's like this is the web page. This is the future. Someday, everything's gonna be on the internet. You're gonna start looking for stuff like search engines, directories, shopping. I'm like, oh wow, that's great. I didn't even imagine back then, you know. So because I was in a different direction. So when I saw it, I'm a more technical savvy guy from childhood. So I'm kind of more problem solver. So you gave me something, I will try to figure it out, no matter how many times I fail. So I said, you know what? That's very intriguing. So I want to learn something. So and it came back next time, and it came back next time, and I kept coming with this guy. He inspired me so much. And he opened up pretty much the angle, I would say, something like hidden, discovered something hidden in me, like hidden talent. I never know I had it. I thought I was going to go after economics, business administration, something leadership, right? But then I found out I had other talents, like hidden talents. I was like, wow, this is like from God. There's something that triggered me. I'm going to go after. So I decided to pursue my computer science degree. Eventually, I studied for bachelor's, master's, and recently I completed the IT management program with Harvard University. How many of you guys know what Harvard is? What's Harvard University? Is that a college? Is that good university? Good, right? Prestigious. Good job. All right. So you guys have a dream, like someday when you grow up, you're gonna go to like college, universities, right? Yeah. Education is important, right, guys? Yeah. Got to be highly educated, especially in this country. This country is giving so much. All the opportunities right here. Don't let slip it away. This opportunity, okay, guys? I mean, you go around the world, it's gonna be hard to find like this country. Right? They don't care who you are, where you come from, if you're rich or you're poor. Right? So you go after your dreams. So enough about the introduction. So let's start talking more technical language now. So I do have a presentation, but for some reason, I'm not sure if I can share, but let's see if I can share that. I might be able to share that. All right, let's do that. Okay, now Chrome. Yeah, I guess I can. All right. There are a lot of mixed keywords out there. I know it may be confusing. Some people say coding. Some people say programming. Some people say software engineering, software development. There are a lot of keywords. But at the end of the day, they all mean one thing, okay? You develop something. You create something, right? So either from scratch, what do we say program? What's the program, right? Program. What is the programming? Programming is very, very simple. Come on in, guys. Lots of people, non-technical people, they find this programming, the word itself is very intimidating. They're like, oh my God, what program? Oh my God, you have to be genius. You have to have a math degree. You need to be good at something else. I mean, lots of stuff, right? It's like, oh my God, I don't want to study. They immediately turned off, like immediately. No. my job has been very simple since I've been in this tech business a long time. My last job, I was in Manhattan. I worked for a large healthcare organization. With my team, I built a company. I built software, and we were able to sold that to $2 million. I left the company. I didn't want it to, but a great opportunity presented itself to work with the United States government, Department of Homeland Security. And I was part of the consultant for cybersecurity department, and through a third-party company. But unfortunately, I didn't have a security clearance at the time. So, but I had to go through third-party company out of Washington, D.C. I had amazing time. I had amazing opportunity working with the very talented people. They're very expert in the many spheres in IT, cybersecurity, software development, architecture, engineering, database, system, a lot of stuff, okay? So, and then last year, 2020, right about before the corona hit, the world, I was about to go back to the corporate America, and then lots of people from Uzbekistan, brothers and sisters, they started approaching me. So, Jonaka, I heard about you. Would you be able to teach us? Like, we want to become a computer scientist. We want to become a programmer. So one following after, and like all of a sudden, I started getting, interest in a lot of people. Like people coming in, I'm like, oh, okay. So it's worth the time. It's a great investment actually in the people, So anyhow, I founded my own company called MyITDU LLC in New York State. And so far, from my this IT, how do you call this, learning center, or people call it differently, I have about 14 certified software engineers. Okay, and people continue still working with me right now. We have classes online, mostly right now because we don't have the face-to-face anymore because of the COVID, right? COVID-19, you guys know that, right? So everything is on Zoom. Now, on your screen, I don't know if you guys should be able to screen. Which one I have to? Maybe I should share this one, right? Instead. Yeah, I'm going to share this one. Can you see it now? Yeah, there we go. Right? That's good. All right. So that was about me. We kind of passed that one right here, so we can go. And some of you are probably thinking about how long do I have to study? How hard I have to study? What I have to learn? What are the things? What are the obstacles that I have to go through? Right? You're probably asking, am I going to be able to study? So now this timeline, basically, I put together for someone who don't have a college degree or who have a college degree in a different direction. Okay, and not necessarily in either computer scientist or programming. So there are two major directions in the computer world. One is the computer science, and there's one computer information systems. So computer science, those guys, well, pretty much the same. They work with computers and stuff. And then you go just like a doctor. When you go to medicine, medicine, you have different directions, like surgeons, neurosurgeons, and you have all the stuff. So computer scientists, basically, they're heavy on calculations, math, algorithms, statistics, and all that stuff. And CIS is more management, in a simple way. You become an IT leaders, all right? You'll have a fundamental knowledge in everything, in programming, in the database, in the system administration. You have the project management. You have architecture. You work with the different, nowadays, like APIs, third-party applications, right? Like, for example, you guys know Instagram? Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of applications. When you post your pictures, your photo, your video, something, right, in one place, and next thing you know, that item, you posted the item, now all of a sudden on other devices as well, right? Like on the Facebook, you can post something on Facebook or Instagram, and you can also post it on somewhere else, and so on and so on, all right? So, or if you're searching something, it's called AI, right? Artificial intelligence and robotics and the machine learning. Those are the new technology, new keywords now. One example, it's from my own personal. The other day, I was looking for caviar. You guys know caviar, right? Fish, the egg. It's considered a little exotic to some area. And I said, you know what? I haven't tried this caviar for a long time. It's expensive, but it's just for sake of it, right? I just searched it. And that's fine. I let it go. And quite sometimes after a while, I remind my mom again. My mom came from kind of old school. She might not know what caviar is, so I had to explain. I didn't even search anything. I was talking. I just said caviar. Caspi, the Caspi Sea. There's in the former Soviet Union. There's Azerbaijan and area. There's a sea, and the best ones came out from that region. I didn't even look on the internet. All of a sudden, on my browser, all over the place now, caviar advertisement, Facebook and Instagram, everywhere. You see what I'm talking about? Yes, I didn't even search it. Phone was nearby. I mean, I didn't even say anything like, "Hey, caviar." No, I didn't say that. I was just having the conversation. So what I'm getting with this, I mean, that's the future, right? That's where we're going. Yeah, there's some thin line we're walking, and there's privacy that some places where our privacy is being violated. I can see that, right? So that's why younger generation like you guys, we need to educate you. We need to explain to you, first of all, fundamental knowledge in technology, right? How the technology works. Simple as, what's the IP address, right? What's the computer? What's the network? How do you connect those computers from one another to another? What's the file? What's the data? Right? Where do you store stuff? When you're talking to the phone, what's happening? So you need to understand all that, right? You need to understand that. If you don't, what's going to happen is someday there are smarter guys than you guys. They're going to learn, they become an expert, and you will be working for them. Either they're going to be cleaning their houses, carrying the stuff, or I don't know, some heavy stuff. And they'll be sitting on the computer and telling you what to do. You have choices. Right now, this is the best moment. You got to start thinking about it. You can waste your time playing games and wasting your time, whatever. That's your options. But if someone at the time when I was growing up, it was at your age, I wish I had someone like myself, right? I wish I had myself and say, you know what, John, I want you to do this. I don't want you to waste your time. Grab your book. This is what you're going to learn. Have some discipline. You're going to thank me later. I wish I had someone. I didn't. I had to do many things. I tried in this direction, I tried this direction, and I was not very successful. It's not easy. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is today is hopefully I will shed some light. And some of you guys, I know you might not have like firsthand experience. I know, like phone, besides phone, right? Anyone else done any coding, any programming? A little bit, right? Okay, a little bit, yeah. Business class. Okay, so hopefully today's class will help you guys, find out about. I think I'm blocking, right? Am I blocking? Okay, so going back to timeline, this 9 months is someone who basically who's proficient in, working with the computers. So if you can type, you can write, you can open a file, you can distinguish between file from directory. What's the difference between file and directory? Who knows it? What's the file? What's the directory? Yes. What's your name?
A file is where you store something.
What is your name?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Yes, sir.
You say yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I heard like yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
A file is where you store like something like, let's say if you want to download a picture and then it goes to this.
Okay.
And then hardware, you see?
Okay.
Hardware is where you transfer.
Okay. Cool. Anybody can help? You gonna help? All right. I mean, that's kind of stuff. I don't want to put you guys on the spot right now, but I'm just saying. Okay. Make sense? So when you're sitting on the computer, who knows what the hacker is? Show hand. What's a hacker? Is that a good guy or bad guy?
Bad guy.
So why is a bad guy?
There's 3 types of them.
Okay. Why don't you tell us? What is your name first?
Abdullah.
Abdullah's gonna tell us.
There is black hacker.
Black.
And white hats and gray hats.
Okay. All right. What they do? What's their purpose? You don't know, but you just said that they're bad people.
The white hats, they like work for the FBI,
Oh.
and they stop the black hats from hacking.
Okay.
But I don't know
He wants to add something. What's your name?
Muhammad Aziz.
Muhammad Aziz. Why don't you tell us?
The hackers are trying to get your information and then like get your money.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. So you guys pretty much know what the hacker does. And naming association like maybe social engineering, right? Ethical hacking, cybersecurity, right? Networking and a lot of topology, network topology. You have to protect we know how they came in. You guys know what the seaports, airports, right? Port. Okay, that's the entry point, right? So people like when they join, when they come to this country, either they're gonna land in JFK, Logan, Boston, LAX, and those are ports. Same with computers, right? Huh? Exactly. So computers have ports. They have numbers, just like JFK has a number, JFK, right? So that's the only one. So same thing with ports. Computer has in and out, right? In and out. Something comes in, we need to give back. It's like I/O, input and output, right? That's another terminology. Input and output. We're not too much worried about what's we're giving out, but we worry about what's we accepting. All right? Because once hackers we get hold of even like a small script, they land it in our system, it's going to be hard. That's it. They can control your computer, they can control your camera, they can control pretty much your life. Not just your computer, your life. Because why life? Well, because you do everything pretty much on the computer. Especially the adult guys, right? You check your email, your bank statement, your Social Security, IRS, anything that, grown-up stuff, right? Everything that can change your life, your direction. So, and what they do? There's a lot of malware, ransomware, right? A lot of viruses, trojans. Every one of them has a purpose. So that's what we need to have a better understanding. That means if we have a better understanding, we know how to protect ourselves. All right, guys? So that's my goal, to kind of give you guys a little bit, explaining how those things are working. Now, today I'm going to talk about more full stack web development. What's the full stack web development? What is the website? Right? What's the www? What's the domain?
World Wide Web.
Yes. What is that? Right? How it works? What's the server? What kind of port we're going to be using? And is this just we're giving out? Are we expecting? All those kind of stuff, right? So website is simply speaking, it's just an information page, right? Piece of document that you have on your computer, and you want to share with what? With who? With someone else, right? So you have a document. We call this HTML, and there are other types of documents out there, but let's call this HTML. Okay. So HTML is basically structure of the website. It's like a wireframe, or how do you call it, skillet, and that's how we build. It has a structure in it. It's like a tagging language, all right? And then what you do, you build the site, and then you have to share with someone, your friend, your relatives, or someone else. And then what you do, you put it on the server, web server. And web server is software that controls, okay, pretty much everything. Like your file, make sure that your file gets shared with public. And there's a certain ports that you have to open. It's like port 80, 80. Okay? And you have like FTP. You got a SMTP, like a mail server. You got this FTP server. You got a SSH, right? 22, like secure ports. Those kind of stuff. So once you get that, imagine now Amazon. Who knows Amazon? Good. Everybody knows. You guys shop on Amazon? You don't, right? What is your favorite website out there? Like you like it. You went there like, recently. Roblox? Is that a website?
Roblox.com.
Roblox.com. Okay. Is that just a gaming portal or is that interactive?
Yeah, so it's like what's the one where you build? It's like the blocks. It's like Minecraft, but
Oh, okay.
shoot each other.
Okay. And
A lot of games inside there.
4 million games.
does the site require you to authenticate and log in?
Yes.
Okay. So that means you create an account.
There's more.
Two-step
Like,
And a character.
Okay. Does it require like 18 requirements restriction?
no.
So it's got to be age.
Yes, there is.
There's age.
You cannot be 1 year old. When I found out you can't be 2.
Okay. What's the age limit?
Any level.
2 years old.
2 years old. Then you can log in, right?
We don't know.
Yes, toddler.
Really?
But you have to be 13.
13 years old. Okay. All right. So you look like you guys know. Let me just make sure that I'm running on. Yeah, it's working. Looks like. Yeah, that's good. All right, that's good. All right, very good. So let's imagine that we're gonna be building Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Anything start with HTTP, you have to type in, right? HTTP, :/ and then www with or without, and then domain name, and Snapchat, exactly. So those sites. So why is the domain name? The computer doesn't see that way, right? So this is just for us, the human. So we can see domain. We can remember. Which one is easy to remember? Numbers or letters? Numbers easy to remember?
Even letters.
I showed him trace route. And I showed him what Facebook's
Yeah.
the outward facing IP address was, and I was like, "This is what your URL gets translated
Yeah.
to the DNS." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Imagine you have to memorize all
Exactly.
of these IP addresses."
Yeah, I think that you guys gonna remember what the Facebook is versus 127.25.36.55. Plus, that's gonna change. It might change over time. You never know. There's a dynamic. There's a static IP address, right? So, and then yeah, so it's easy for you to remember the names of Facebook. If I say go to Facebook, you'll be like, yeah, sure, you're gonna go to Facebook. But if I say go to 1.355671091010, we're like, oh, wait a second, brother. No. I'm gonna forget. Exactly. So that's the point. That's why we have this DNS table, right? Look up. So you're gonna search the domain name and domain name associated with the IP addresses. External IP address, not the internal, because web server has internal and external IP address, right? So external IP address, and guess what? Every device out there on the web, it's just like a street address. Every house has what? Street address. So if you give me street address, I look it up on Google, and Google will tell me where you are, where you live, or where the organization is located. Same thing with internet. Okay, we need to know all that. In your age, if you know all those, what I'm teaching you, you guys are gonna be like step ahead of your generation, right now. Yes, sir.
Can you build like more than one or two like ID? Oh,
Yeah, you can. So let me put this one here. Now, there are different IP addresses associated with the domain. Like for example, if you go to AWS, Amazon's cloud computing. So what you do, let's say you have a domain name, and remember, nowadays there's a keyword called cloud computing. All right. You can imagine, like if you have a website right now and it's accessible by this area from these people right here in Orlando, New York, whatever. Now imagine someone coming from other part of the world to exactly the same website. Look at the distance, right? Not everybody has exactly fast internet. Not everybody has that, right? So how do we engineers, we need to constantly on the lookout. We always try to find a better way. How can we make that better than what we have? Okay, how do we leave our technology? How do we leave this legacy in a good, in better shape to our young generation? That's what always we talk about. That's all we think about it, and that's what we geeks, we engineers, right? So, and we came up with zones, right? So, for example, cloud. Think of like a cloud, like all over the place. So if you go to google.com right now, right here, you're accessing the one server. Server is where your all files are located. Now, if you go to London, Thailand, that's another server. Yeah, but let me finish this one. See what I mean? So there are different IP addresses depending on where you're accessing from. If you're accessing from Orlando, it finds your geolocations based on the IP address. Like this guy is coming from Florida. I'm going to redirect this person to nearest web server, whatever the nearest would be. It could be East Coast. It could be whatever. Not to Thailand, not to Japan, not to Australia. Do you see what I'm talking about? That's the equal distribution stuff. And that's why some people from Uzbekistan, they might have a hard time to go to the website because nearest web server, the center is in Moscow or maybe England or somewhere else, not so much in Uzbekistan. And that's why they're building on it, but all right. So
the IP address first comes from the server.
Yes. Every device has IP address. Your phones, watch. You got this. Yeah, anything connected.
How is it generated?
TV.
IP address. When you buy a new phone, then
Yep.
the cell phone company generates that.
Yeah. Yep. It's called IPS, like ISP, like Internet Server Provider.
Once you activate your SIM card, then you get.
Yeah. If you have a data plan, yes, you have access to.
Or if it's on your household, then when you buy an internet package.
Yes, and then they will assign to you.
Internet company, then they give you.
Right. It's more dynamic IP address. They can change it anytime. If you reboot your modem, it may restart this like numbers. It's not unless you buy a static IP address and you have to pay additional. You basically dedicated IP. That means it's yours. So you can actually build your own server out of your basement if you have a static IP address because it'll never change. All right. So you can register that with the domain name service like a GoDaddy, some other ones out there. You can register. You can tell them like, hey, if someone goes ask a request for this website, I want you to redirect them to my computer in the basement. And you have a web server like Apache, Tomcat, or XAMPP, IIS. There are a lot of ones out there. That's it. But if you shut down, that's it. Nobody's going to be able to access your website. Yeah. So that's why now every device has two things. One is MAC address. It's a physical device address. An IP address can change, but MAC address is hardly to change, right? You're not going to change that every time. That's something that is stamped. It's like a VIN number of your car. Exactly. Yep. So let's say out of 10 people here, you access. Everybody has a computer, right? Right now, let's imagine hypothetically, right? We're not going to do that, right? All of this, 10 of us right now, everybody has their own computer. You go into the website, and one of you guys, I'm not saying anyone, but one of you guys went to the bad site, and then they're going to track you. What to do? They're going to come this area. They're not going to know who, but they know someone from this place accessed the site. They come in, knock on the door, and say, "Okay, guys, everybody sit, and we're going to find out who accessed this site." Okay. So now, of course, they're going to have warrant, of course, and they're going to have the ISP, all that. They're going to have to involve, but something has to be some big, right? Make sure they're not violating the freedom of speech and Freedom Act, all that stuff. Make sure they're not violating that. But that's a different topic for another day. But what I'm getting with this is they're going to find the IP address, right? And that IP address associated with what? MAC address. So when you open up a computer, you'll see the MAC address. You can change the IP address, but you're not changing the MAC address. And that's already, Internet provider service already telling you someone from this IP address, and that is the MAC address right here. And they're going to come and talk to you. That's how important it is. Unless you're using a VPN, that's another topic. So, okay, your proxy, so that's a different thing. But anyhow, let's stay with the topic. All right, now. So we talk about the Amazon, and what is the website you just said? Roblox, right? Roblox. So what you see Roblox, you log in, you click you see, you mouse over, you see the pictures, images, everything is front end. What you see is front end. Everything is done front end. All right. What you don't see, interaction between whatever's happening. Like when you click on something, you don't see what's happening. You submit something, right? Your form, you log in. What's happening? You don't see anything. You click on it. That's it. You're waiting. Well, everything's handled by backend. It's like you go to a restaurant, right? And you greeted by who? The waitress or like a bosser, and it's like, "Hi, welcome to this steakhouse. Come on in. How many people? Oh, 5 people. Come on in. All right, here's a menu." And the waitress is the face of the restaurant. Basically, if the nicer they are, the more people welcoming they're gonna come in. Like, "Oh my God, this is so nice. I like that. I'm comfortable. Have a seat over here, sir. What do you like to drink?" All that stuff. So everything's happening what? In front end. This is everything front end because you have access to it. Now what happens? The waitress or waiter take your order or orders, and then she or he walks back to the kitchen, gives all the orders what you have, like to the chef, right? And that's the back end. You don't see what's happening. You have no access. You don't. You can't just walk up to the chef and tell them, "Hey, can you put extra mayonnaise on my sandwich?" Or can you do? No, you don't do that. You talk to who? Your waitress. You don't have access to back end. And that's how it is. That's how the system is. Front end is separate. Back end is separate. Now, when you go to back end, it's totally different process there. Every section works differently. Like for example, let's say you are shish kebab, right? You guys know shish kebab? Everybody loves it, right? So shish kebab, right? So you order shish kebab, and the waitress will take you to the order takes you to the chef, and chef knows how to make shish kebab. How much lamb or how much the beef you need, what kind of spices, what kind of whatever, right? So what do? You don't keep the raw material like food nearby. You're gonna keep them in the refrigerator, right? You got to keep them fresh. So what you do, you have either assistants. You can say, "Hey, I need 2 pounds of lamb, and I have onion, and I have this mashed potato. I need the potato, blah 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 blah." Give to the assistant. The assistant what? Goes to another room. There's a warehouse, like a refrigerator or freezer, and they're gonna grab it from there and give it to you, and then you cook it. Okay. So that refrigerator we call this database. You keep the data, right? Just like all this information that we're using for the food, like potato, all the ingredients, it's like considered like a data. Okay. So what's most important here is the data. I don't care how big, how well you construct your application, your software. Without data, there's nothing. Data is the money, information, and the hackers go after data. That's what they want. If they steal your data, that means they have a power. They can control you. That's what it's all about. Controlling. Okay. So, and what we're gonna do? We're gonna learn, and we're not gonna let them control. We're gonna step ahead of everyone out there, the bad people that who want to hurt us. Okay, so that's what it is. Front end. That's what it does. The front end basically represents what you see, and the back end we already talked about it. What is it? Back end is everything that's happening in the back end. So front end gives the order to the back end, and the back end will process that, cleans up the data, checks, make sure everything is okay, runs to the database, and if whatever find information from a database, and gives back to the front end. It's like Amazon. You go to Amazon, you're looking for iPhone 12 Pro Max, right? You typed in and click on search. So when you search, front end takes the keyword and send back to the back end, and back end and front end, both of them, they have to do their own diligence, like cleaning up the data, validate the data, make sure that they don't enter like a monkey business, like some stuff that, make sure they enter what they. Give me 1 second. Let me finish my thought, and then we're gonna go to the question. Okay. So, and then go to backend, and backend takes this and say, okay, my customer is looking for iPhone 12 Pro Max with the following criteria. What is it? 256 storage, and then I want the gold and unblocked and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Okay, that's the feature that you're looking for. And then it checks the database and said, hey, database, how you doing this afternoon? You good? Can you look up this item for me? It's like, sure. All right. So there is interaction going on between backend and also database. So there's basically it's like almost like a total different language that you need to speak. Database don't understand the backend, and backend doesn't understand the database. So there's this language called SQL or SQL. It's called structured query language. Okay. So you need to tell database like select all these columns from this table and give it to me, or where this and that. If all this come back, guess what? And backend tells it to the front end, said, hey, front end, I found this. Can you tell your customer whatever I have found? And front end takes it, massage the data, make it nice, beautiful, style it, put some color, remove some of the stuff, unnecessary stuff, because you trust me, you don't want to see everything. Because you only want to see what you want to see, okay? You want to see prices, you want to see if there is one. And then say, oh, okay, so there's someone, I'm going to purchase that. And then click, and you buy it. We want to make sure that you have a pleasant experience. We don't want you like going as like think about something, oh, I have to solve this problem in order to buy this. No, we don't want you. Like, I want to make it easy as possible, okay? So, and that's what happens for the back end. Okay, so, and then you have this, how to front end. In order to learn the front end, you have to know the HTML, CSS. HTML is the structure, I said. CSS is the styling. Then you have the Bootstrap, that's the library for CSS. And you have a JavaScript, it's a web programming language. It's, yep, JavaScript is more than web programming nowadays. You can access the backend now. There are a lot of frameworks out there. You know, like Angular, right? You got a Node.js, React, jQuery, and a bunch of other ones. And then you have the jQuery as a library. And for the backend, there are a lot of different languages you need to learn. PHP, Python, Java, C#, right? Perl. I can sit here all day. All those languages. MySQL is one of the databases I just mentioned. There are a lot of databases, right? Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2, Postgres, Sybase, MariaDB, and a lot of them out there. Okay, but MySQL. Why we are picking those technologies? Because they're open source. Because of the cost. Because we want to create a cost-effective product. I don't want to end up paying, you know, for the services. And that's why open source. What's open source? Open source is something that it's been a new technology the last 10, maybe 15 years. Is developers around the world, they contribute their own hours, their own time. They don't just everything. Not everything about the money, right? We're passionate about technology. We're passionate about what we do, and eventually it's sharing. So what we do is we share our knowledge, we share our time. We, as a team, collaboratively work on stuff, improving something. We're creating something out of nothing, and that's why open source the terminology came by. And then you have this Linux operating system, right? What's operating system, right? You guys know that. Windows.
Yes.
Huh? You know about Linux? What's the Linux?
Linux is a
Linux operating system. Okay. So what's the Unix then? What's the difference in Unix? Anybody know the Unix? Any other Linux? Any other? Well, anybody knows the Fedora, Ubuntu, Red Hat? What is it?
Python is a coding software.
Yeah, but that's a coding software. We're talking about the operating system, right? Anybody knows Windows? Windows operating system, right? Okay. What about IBM? Mainframe, ZOS, right? Yeah, good. So, see, Linux is just a flavor, right? It's a Unix family. There are a lot of other ones, the distribution packages, and then, right. So, go back to what? Around 1970s, 1969, AT&T Lab, right? Where? California. So, and then they have this distribution. I have this package. Maybe, hopefully someday, maybe I'll talk to you guys about more detail. All right, it's very, very important. So everything that I mentioned right now It's like a layer. You got the sites or application, could be mobile development, could be AI technology, whatever it is. It's sitting on something else. Something is running that. And something else, right? So whatever we're running, they're all sitting on top of the operating system. You got to have the operating system. Now, two major things I'm going to talk about operating system today. What's the operating system? Is something that's a software, right? Hardware and software. So operating system basically has two main things, right? One, well, major one I'm going to talk about is the memory and CPU, the brain. So let me give you an example. In the software, you write something. You write something like you open something, you write something, and whatever. What you do, so the brain of the computer, we could call it a central processing unit or chip or whatever you want to call that. So what basically does, it can do millions of calculations or decisions in a nanosecond. It's like you can't even imagine. Okay, so while it's doing that, somehow some information we need to store somewhere temporarily. So when I ask you, so what's your name? Yes. Yusuf. Okay, Yusuf, how old are you? 15. Now, look what I'm doing. I'm asking your name, and you said Yusuf. Okay, that's the input right there. You're giving me something. I'm grabbing that. I'm storing that somewhere, right? Oh, Yusuf. Okay, name Yusuf. Good. Your age? 15, right? Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm storing the information in a name. So that means I'm telling the memory, say, hey, memory, I want to ask you to store something. It's like allocate a slot in your whole box. Like imagine like there's a box and you have the small boxes inside. So I want you to open the box and I want you to name that box. Let's say first name. Good. What do you want to put in there? I want to put Yusuf, the word Yusuf. It's like a value. Boom. Now, and I ask you age. Same thing. Now, in about a few minutes later, if I need that first name, Yusuf, I'm going to tell memory and say, hey, do you remember I saved a name? Yeah. Can you give me what's the name was it? That's Yusuf. Okay, give it to me.
You talking about RAM?
Yes. Yep. So there's the RAM and SSD and the DDR, and that's a different one. All right. So I'm just giving like a little bit of a overview of how they are related. Why are they important? Just knowing the coding not enough. Just I just want to code. No. Like Uzbek can the chalasawat. And that's one thing that we don't need in our society is chalasawat people. We don't. They that's a bad example. You chalasawat, you teach somebody else, that becomes half of your chalasawat. And then eventually they become nothing. Go on. Because they don't know the best standards. They don't know the technical side of it. They don't know the history. They don't know the culture, where they came from and where they're going, standards. Oh, it's a big deal. Big deal. Okay? So when you write a program, you write a piece of code, and we know what program is. It's just a set of instructions. You tell something like computer what to do, step by step. So, like one of you guys, if I ask you go to grocery store and buy me Pepsi, you're kind of falling asleep. What's your name? Huh? Abdubakar. When I ask you, Abu Bakr. I ask you to go to grocery store and buy me a Coke. Bring me Coke, for example. What do you do? I have the money and I give it to you. And what do you do? Okay. Let's stop right there. So you take my money and you go to the store to buy what? Coke. Okay. Now, let's say if I teach you programming, you're probably not going to do that. What are you going to do? If I ask you, hey, can you give me Coke? You're going to say, of course. What if there is no Coke? What do you want me to buy? That should be the follow-up. That's plan B. What if there is no Coke? What do you want me to buy? And then I'm going to say, okay, then buy me Pepsi. What if there is no Pepsi? There's else. Oh, just buy me something else, whatever. Do you see that? Now you're going to go there, you're prepared. Because in case, if there's no Coke, you're going to buy Pepsi. If there's no Pepsi, then you will buy something else. And then those guys don't have the programming in the background. What they do? They're gonna walk all the way, and they find out there's no Coke. And what do? Either gonna come back or they're gonna call, Dad, oh brother, oh, I don't have Coke. What am I gonna do? And there is a, I don't know, some of you speak Russian. Есть такая пословица, говорят, дурная голова ногам покоя не дает. Вы слышали, да, это? Если голова дурная, не работает, тогда ногам очень трудно будет. Правильно? Значит, это правило, вот это именно здесь можем использовать. Smart. Legs will be rest if you use this. Okay? Yeah, we don't want to use the leg because we're going to need them. So anyhow, that's what the front end, back end, database, system, all that. So that's what eventually you're going to learn, and also just learning all that stuff not enough. You got to build a portfolio, build a resume. You got to prepare for job interviews. Why is so important, guys? Let's say, yeah, you know a lot of things now. You can program. Exactly. It's time to sell yourself, and that's what the market requires. So that you got to chop. You got to be presentable, right? So you got to have a good speech. You got to be able. Well, no, you don't have to be like top guy, right? So at least you have to be able to express your opinion. You express the knowledge. You have to understand the question. You need to present it in such a way so that the person should be impressed. Okay. So you need to be able, like, hey, you know what? I'm the guy. I'm exactly the guy that you're looking for. Let me prove you that. Here's what I'm going to answer your question you're asking for. Boom, boom. Explain to them. Oh, don't take it too long, but right to the point. Explain to them that you're reliable. You have a hands-on experience, right? You know what they're talking about, depending on what position you apply. So, and talk the talk, walk the walk. I mean, they're gonna be asking you, okay, so resume looks great. I like the resume, blah blah blah. Can you back it up? Can you show me something that I can see? I can look at some of your sample work, and then you'll be like, yeah, I have a portfolio. I've done it. I built a calculator. I built the converter. I can connect to what's the name? United States healthcare website and get the COVID-19 my area. I can build the application on the Bluetooth, based on a Bluetooth level, so I can go to the public place. I can see if I have a contact with someone who has COVID-19, and my phone will be ringing. Right? For example, I'm just kidding. Right? So some other ideas. Yeah, if you build that, you can show them. Maybe they can relate to them, like, oh my God, that's exactly what we're trying to build. Or maybe that's something that we have that somewhere. We built it before. It's all about making connections. Making the connections with the potential employer. Showing that you are the person, you are a human being. Okay? You're not just here like, oh, I just want to steal your money, I just want to sit around and pay me and no. Okay? So that's what it's all about. Making like a mental preparedness. We're gonna make sure that you are really, really that person, well-rounded person. Okay, make sure you can talk, you can behave yourself, you can dress nice. Make sure when people look at it, like, oh my God, I like to work with this guy. I like to have this guy in my team. That's kind of impression we can build. Okay, so learning to write programs stretches your mind and helps you to think better. Creates a way of thinking about the things that I think is helpful in all domains. And Mr. William Gates. Yes. Yep. Then you have this interview process. Well, someday, you guys gonna get to that point. You're gonna go through this. Even if you apply for McDonald's job, they're not gonna just hire you. They're gonna say, okay, you can start. No, they're gonna talk to you. Phone interview. Phone interview is the most common first step, like initial step. Well, of course, they're gonna looking at your resume first. They will determine your eligibility or qualifications, whether you can proceed to the next level. If they find you worth, they'll be making phone calls like, hey, hi John, and listen, I saw your resume, looks very fantastic. So I'd like to talk to you. You have a minute? And we're like, yeah, of course. So let me ask you the question. What are you looking for? Who you are? What's your passion? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm looking for that. Okay, wonderful. So you passed the first interview. How about we're gonna set up a second interview, and with someone technical, and they're gonna ask. The point is, if I were like a technical manager or someone representing the other company, I want to make sure you are worth my time. Okay, it's like a cleaning process. I just want a qualification process. I just want to make sure that before I send you to my manager, because his manager's time is about $200 an hour, and I'm trying to cut that cost before I send someone who's not even worth it. So I'm gonna, flush it out. I'm gonna clean it out. So now I found that you are really deem worth it. So I'm gonna call you and meet that person. And that's how it is. Everything is very process. Process. Everything is process. Okay. So and then you get a code challenge. And so okay, so I met you. I see you the right guy. So can you show me? Can you build this right here? This program. One of the code challenge, the question they asked me early years of my developer's career. I was sitting in the waiting area. I dressed nice and I had this briefcase. And then the guy looked very nice, professional. Walked by. It's like I stood up and said, "Good morning, sir." He's like, "Yeah, good morning. Are you here for job interview?" "Yes, I am." "Oh, great." And he introduced himself. He's the CEO of the company. I'm like, "Wow, that's great." So, and then I see like people walking around, everybody busy, and then I kept waiting, and then there were some people before me. So eventually, I got his attention for some reason because I was sitting kind of in his peripherals. Huh? Yes, yeah. He saw me because I was nice and I was like, "Good morning." I have this smile and I showed that enthusiasm. I have this energy. I was, yeah. So kind of, you got to be charismatic. Sometimes you just have to show that you have positive energy. So this guy came out. He's like trying to getting coffee, and he looked at me. He's like, "Oh, so you're here for what position?" I'm like, "Programmer position." "Oh, okay." And he's like walking, like, "Stop by." He stopped it, and it's like turned around. It's like, "Let me ask you something." I was like, "Yeah, sure." "You see that elevator?" I said, "Yeah." "If you built a pseudocode means something that in your English language, step 1, step 2, step 3. If you built a program in your language, like in English language, for that elevator, how the elevator works, you don't have to go through those guys. I'll hire you." Yeah, he asked me to build a program for the elevator. Yeah, that's in your own word. You have to explain to them like how the elevator works. So I'm sitting over here and I'm like beginner. I'm not beginner, but I'm not senior. So I'm like, okay, nobody asked me before. That's kind of stuff. So here's a paper, here's the stuff. Here's 15 minutes for you. You don't have to write anything. It doesn't have to be a technical. Just explain to me. So one goes up, one goes down. Okay, so at some point, someone from 10th floor, then they're gonna call for elevator. They're gonna either go down, right? Depending on how tall it is. So what if both cars on the bottom? Which one is gonna come? What if both of them on the top? Depending on where they are. So you gotta build the algorithm. You gotta build the formula. It's complicated. It's not easy. I'm telling you right now. But at least what he's looking for is not a solution. He's not expecting me to solve this problem. He's looking for, see if I have this open mind. I can think outside the box. My approach. See if I can take those small points into consideration. It's like, what if two people get on? What if this going up on 10th floor and someone requested from 9th floor and it's already late? Am I going to pick it up to 9th floor, go back and pick it up, or should that person is going to wait? How long is wait is good? We don't want that person wait too long either, right? So those kind of stuff. And then when I was able to explain that stuff, these are the, like pros and cons, and there are obstacles. We're gonna look into a lot of possibilities. We're gonna write it down. I just write it down. It's already done. Look at him. He's like, "You know what? You got yourself a job. When can you start?" I write it down, everything. Immediately. He didn't even ask question. He looked at my resume and said, "When can you start? You got yourself a job. Can you start in 2 weeks?" I'm like, Are you guys? No, I'm the CEO. You see that? You hired. I tell these guys, they don't have to go through. You hired. I'll hire you. Yeah. And that was one of those moments for me. I'm like, what just happened?
So what was your answer? Shortly.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have the perfect solution. What I was doing is I was writing down columns. Like, what are the? It's like I had some project management experience, just a little bit, to organizing those, dividing and categorizing. Okay, these are the problems. What I need for that, I need this, I need that. One goes up, one goes down, and then scenarios, different scenarios, use cases. You got to write those, and that's what I did. There was nothing specific. I just said these are the problems that I need to solve, and these are the already problem already solved. All I have to do, write the algorithm, and that I just highlight. I wrote it down, kind of roadmap, and these are the one. I did not give them any specific solutions. Okay, that's it. So he looked at it, my answer based on answer that he could see the potential that I could think outside the box. That's pretty much it. That's all they're looking for. They didn't ask me programming language at all. Just, I know. Yeah, almost done. Yeah, this is the last. Well, 5 minutes. Yeah, is it good?
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
No, it's just 5 minutes.
Yep, this is it. This is the last one, guys. Companies you can apply where? All over the places. Amazon, Google, Facebook, IBM, Yahoo. Huh?
Yahoo.
IBM. Yes. Okay. Any questions? All right. So, like I said, today's my goal was to kind of give you guys a little bit of a overview of what the technology is, and software and programming. I mean, we don't be looking for like a lot of detailed question and answer right now. It's just a basic introduction today.
So this is your opportunity to be a dishwasher or the manager.
He's warming up like those guys.
So
You wash or ask someone to wash.
yes.
This opportunity. You should listen.
So it's been a pleasure to know every one of you guys. I had an amazing time. Thank you very much for joining. Like I said, I'm going back to New York, not tomorrow, on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Yep, and
Very helpful.
thank you. Yeah, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, okay? My ITDU. Yes, exactly. Tell me, let me know if you join. You see me like, hey, Jonica, you were at our place. How you doing, brother? I'll respond to you guys.
What is the name again?
My ITDU, right there. Grab one of these right here. If you need one, this is everywhere, and Facebook and YouTube. My ITDU. Take it. It's
How
fine.
many people are watching?
Well, right now it's too late. There we go. Take it. Yeah, give it to one. There's this is. You can take this one. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, can I get the tiny one off?
This one. There we go. You take it. All right. Take. Yeah.
Dishwashing and again.
Yeah. Bo'ldi. Yigitlar, demak, yes, rahmat. Bemalol. Breakfast with yozibdi. Yigitlar nimalar yozibdi? Va alaykum assalom yigitlar, uzr. Bu yerda ozgina prezentatsiya berishga to'g'ri keldi. Shuning uchun sizlar bilan muomala qila olmadik. Mana biz sekin yo'lga tushsam bo'laveradi. Soatim 9:20 bo'lib qoldi. 5larda keldim. Nima uchirsa bo'laveradi. Instagramchilar keyin gaplashamiz sizlar bilan. Okay, so let's close it. Qayda? Yeah, O'zbekistondan ko'p.
Bizga ovqat topilib qolar, oshxona bilasizmi?
Bilmadim, endi ketaversam bo'larmidi men?
Endi qorin to'qlab ketyapti.
Mayli, men Yigitlar, qizlar sog' salomat bo'linglar. Qo'shilganing uchun rahmat. Thank you very much guys. Teşekkürler, iyi akşamlar, okay? All right, bye bye. Aha, bo'ldi. Sog' bo'linglar. Давайте. Пока-пока, ребята. Bo'ldi, tugadi. Prezentatsiyamiz. Tamam. Aha, bye bye.